Sims and Leon, Nicholas Couperion's favorite podcast. Trust me, he's my brother.
So, Aliki, is this the first time you heard this song?
Yes, it is. It's new.
Yeah, this is our SNL Light theme song.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, so
I see.
So we're doing
first time for me to be on the light.
It is,
isn't it? Or well, I thought I did one with Ilana, didn't I?
Was that? Yeah, I think that was a light, wasn't it? I can't remember if we did that as a full episode or a light, but yeah. So maybe you've heard it before. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I have a terrible memory.
It's just me and you today. Dustin's out on an adventure, so he's not hanging out with us tonight or for now.
Working or fun?
Oh, it's fun. Elena surprised him with a 30th birthday celebration with some of his friends out in Port Aransas. They got them a little beach house.
Well, that's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But why are you not included on the friends list?
I guess they just didn't want me to go.
Is he Vickying you? Are they Vickying you?
Pretty much.
They're treating you like Vicky treats me.
So I'm not in studio today. I'm at the production studio. Anybody watching on Twitch, and we don't advertise this except when we talk about it. I guess that doesn't make sense, does it?
No.
But when we're recording our shows, we do a live Twitch stream at twitch.tv/SimsandLeon. So anybody listening to this now could have been watching it live and just seeing me be stupid on a camera. It's fun.
Drinking and talking.
I have my Coors Light, I have my microphone, and I have my friend Aliki.
Yes.
Lady G somewhere around here. She's been very needy all weekend long.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, this is one of those rare weeks I went to the office almost every day of the week, and same with last week. So normally I do 3 days in the office, 2 days at home. But because of certain schedule things and another one of our design guys is no longer with us, one of our Dallas guys, I kind of double up my work, so I had to be in the office more. Just to help.
Is this going to be a permanent thing?
No. It was more of starting to coordinate things with the Dallas office to make it a smooth transition for me to start taking on their work, which the extra work isn't the problem. It's just having them understand how I do my job. It's different than other designers because I'm very thorough and I'm not fast.
Oh.
And I tell them that I'm not fast, but I have a very thorough design and it does not get rejected by anybody. I say that, but
well, quality over quantity.
That's correct. So the reason I wanted to talk to you is because the Kentucky Derby was insane.
Yes, I know, wasn't it? It was a shock for everybody. So the real question is, do you bet on the ponies?
I do. Not very
well.
How
do you do?
Oh, terrible.
Not very well? It's fun, though. I always say I can't watch the race if I don't have money on it, even if it's a little.
Yeah, I started doing I say they're silly bets where you pick, it's like it was cheap. It was like $1.25. You pick 5 horses and just finish in the top 5. And if you win that bet, you win a lot. So you're cheering on 5 different horses. Yes. It's a lot of fun. And in that certain bet, they didn't all have to finish in top 5. Like if you had...
Well, I like that one.
Yeah, any of those 5 finish in the top 3, I think that's what it was. I don't remember exactly what the bet was, but it was... Once we learned about that, me and my sister learned about that bet, we were obsessed with it. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, so is it so do you have to pick in the 5 races consecutively or in the same race?
Same race.
Same race, okay. Because there's bets where if you can pick like the winner in 5 consecutive races or superfectas, where you just pick right all day. And there's so many bets, it's ridiculous. You can bet on whether you'll trip coming in the door.
That's what I love about gambling. You can literally bet on anything.
Anything. And our state, it's big. Horse racing is big in Kentucky.
Oh, I bet.
That's a big thing for us. Yeah, really big.
Yeah, so let's talk about... do you want to talk about this week's or last week's Kentucky Derby, or do you want to talk about past Kentucky Derbies first? Because last week's I thought was insane.
It was. First of all, it was wonderful because it was pretty much the return to a normal Derby. So that was great. Setting 2 years out, I think the first year we postponed it and they ran it just to keep the tradition. And then last year it was, very masked up, very, not, I think only, if I'm not mistaken, only like the owners and trainers and people affiliated could really get in. And this year it was completely open. So that was great. And yeah, we had a long shot win. And I mean, to begin with, Rich Strike wasn't even supposed to be running.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like the backup for the worst horse, in the field as it was. And then that one dropped out and he came in. I mean, I think everybody was shocked. But, 80-1 odds. Some people made some money.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, for sure. But it's kind of fun to see it. Now, of course, I would say if this horse, which I don't think it will, but if it can pull off the Triple Crown, that would be amazing. It would be something. Because that's hard for a great horse to do. So this little one, man, he's like another Seabiscuit. He ran his heart out.
So did you watch any of the videos that they showed after the race? Like the overhead video of him weaving in and out?
Yeah, or I thought maybe you were talking about the famous biting, him biting his outrider that was trying to get him into the winner's circle. I felt bad for that one. That was unfortunate. It's like, so people are so divided. They're angry about it, and then other people are like, well, that's what you have to do. And it's just one of those unfortunate things. It's like an athlete, you get out there and you get all jazzed up, and you're like in the moment, and I'm sure that horse at this point, he just didn't even know what to do with himself. And of course he's immediately grabbed up to be brought into the winner's circle to receive his roses and all the accolade, and I think it was just too much for him.
So do you think the horses know that they won, or even know that they're in a race?
I kind of think they do. I do think there is a little bit of a competitive spirit. I don't think it's much different than when you watch them race in a field. Sometimes they gallop together in groups, and I think they kind of, yeah. And I would imagine that what happens is if you win, I'm sure you're given extra oats or extra treats or whatever it is. And I'm sure you just start getting conditioned like, okay, faster I run, the better I'm treated. So yeah, I bet they do. I bet they do. And then, getting a whip to their butt probably moves them along also, but
that helps push them a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It was not fun to see that one guy, practically beating him to get him off of him. But I don't know if you've ever been bit by a horse or kicked by a horse. It's pretty serious, and then you didn't want both the horses going crazy because the other horse wasn't too happy with it either. So that was just a bad situation.
I've never been bit or kicked by a horse, and I grew up like riding horses. We didn't have horses myself, but the neighbors across the street from my parents had horses and ponies.
Uh-huh.
And they had miniature horses, which when you're a kid and there's a miniature horse, the horse's name was Red. I mean, we just had so much fun. Like I learned how to, I literally learned how to rope and ride. And I could like use little
on a miniature horse.
On a miniature horse.
Or on a miniature horse.
Yeah.
Did you what did you rope cats, or I mean what equivalent animal would you chase down with a miniature horse?
No, they had like an actual rink set up to where it had a chute where you could take off with the horse. You're on the horse. They open it up. Red would run out, and then we had like the little fake cattle, pigs out there that we just wrangle the fake ones, the little statues. Little metal
I hope
things.
You're talking about a pony.
No, yeah, it's when I say miniature horse, I'm not talking about one like the size of a dog. But
because that's a miniature horse.
Yeah, well, it was
a pony. You're probably talking about a pony.
They always said she was a miniature horse, but you're probably right.
Because miniature horses are really tiny. I mean, I'm thinking your legs, even as a kid, might have been dragging on the ground.
No, I would say
I have never seen them saddle a miniature horse.
Okay, and well, we never rode it with a saddle, but I would say she was about half the size of a regular horse.
Yes, she was a pony. Then.
Okay, then pony. I guess they just told us she was miniature because that'd make us happier as
she
kids.
was a pony. Yes.
Yeah.
And rich kids get ponies.
Well, I didn't have a pony, but my neighbor did.
Well, that's kind of cool that you did that.
Yeah, and it was kind of because they used to do show horses and quarter horses. So they would go to horse shows and they would just show their horses.
So did their saddle have a horn on it? Or did it not?
I honestly do not remember.
Yeah, it's just completely different.
That was a long
styles.
time ago. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I've always been fascinated with rodeos. We used to go all the time as kids. Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
Oh, I love the rodeo.
I wanted to talk about the
when
Kentucky
it comes
Derby.
to town, we always go. I love the rodeo.
So the stockyards here that we have the big rodeo in Fort Worth every year, the Fort Worth Stock Show and whatever it's called, and I feel like it's a pretty popular one just because it's in Fort Worth and that's kind of where the West began and all that nonsense. But I went to the Houston rodeo once and it blows the Fort Worth rodeo out of the water. Like
rodeo out.
It is insane how great the Houston rodeo was. So I don't know. I think I was just told growing up because we're in Fort Worth, it's the best rodeo there until I went to another one.
Well, of course.
So I wonder how are y'all's rodeos in Kentucky?
Well, we don't really probably have like ours comes to town. It's kind of when it tours. We don't really have, if you want to say, a set rodeo because rodeo's not, it's horse racing in our state. So you don't, or polo. We play polo.
Yeah. So I don't have the month-long rodeo.
It only comes for like 4 days.
Oh, interesting.
It comes through town, sets up, everyone gets their tickets, and then out it goes. So there's really not probably a lot of rodeo here in the state, to be honest with you. I'm sure some people do it, but it's not a big thing.
Yeah, that
so
makes
growing
sense.
growing up, if you learned to ride, you did hunter and jumper, or you just did English where you would just trot or gallop around and show your horse. We didn't really do any of the any rodeo. Now we do have, I don't know if they do it anymore, but they had the World Championships in Lexington at the horse park, and it was a 3-day event, and it was like an endurance test for these horses. I mean, the course was insane. It was this huge course. These horses would jump over 10-foot fences into like a pond of water and have to jump it. It was wild. And it was like the World Championship. It was really, I think people started frowning on it because it was so tough on the horses. Then we have something called the steeplechase, which is sort of a throwback to, I guess, in English manners when the foxes would run and the horses would, they would go out and hunt and they would jump over fences and hedges. And so that's another race that we have. So we have all kinds of different things, but not the rodeo, which I really like the rodeo because who doesn't like a cowboy?
So I know what you're talking about, the 4-day rodeos that come around because my brother-in-law is a bull rider and he's going to rodeos all the time.
And he rides?
He's retired so many times. I think he still rides occasionally. Now he brings his own bulls, and he has his own riding bulls that he takes to the rodeos, and other cowboys ride them. But yeah, he was a pretty good bull rider for a long time.
Man, I'll tell you what, I give it to you. Hats off. I mean, there is no way I would be strapped to the back of a bull. I don't even know what that must do to your body, even if you stay on. I mean, just the jerking.
I tell you what, I know it messes with his brain because he cannot add for shit.
Yeah.
Like we play cornhole a lot, and he cannot never get the addition right for the scores. He's always giving him more points, everyone else less points. I call it bull rider math. He is terrible at it.
Yeah, that sounds like bullshit math to me there. Yeah, cheater math.
Yeah, cheater math.
I ought to use that excuse. Cheater math. Yeah, I watch them do that, and I'm just like, God, I just don't know how. I mean, it's I don't know how you do it.
Yeah,
they love it.
Yeah, he broke his leg once, and it was really neat. And not that he broke his leg, but it was really cool to see how all the other bull riders came together and did a charity bull ride for him, and like big time bull riders came out, not just like the locals, his friends and stuff. Like big time bull riders came out to raise money for him since he couldn't ride. That's how he made his money, That was like his job. Right. He was basically a full-time bull rider. When he wasn't bull riding, he's like working land somewhere. So I mean, he's a legit cowboy, I'd say.
Oh yeah, that sounds like the real deal.
Have you ever heard of mutton busting?
No, I have not.
Oh, that is great. And you need to look this up. It's when little kids ride sheep.
Oh, that's cute.
And the sheep, they just run in circles, but it's basically the starter of bull riding. And my little nephews do that, and it was the funnest thing. I loved watching him do that. And
So do they ride them bareback and just with a little halter? Oh,
yeah, they ride them bareback, just hold on to the sheep and try to stay on as long as they want. And there's sheep with little bitty kids on it, and they're wearing helmets and stuff, so it looks like it's kind of safe.
Oh, that's so cute.
Oh, but it's so fun to watch.
Kind of safe, semi-safe. That is super cute.
My nephew Little Dell, he would when he was a kid, he would always just jump after he was done. If he got bucked off too early, he would jump up and get mad because the bull. I'm sorry, because the sheep came out of the chute wrong, and you're supposed to get a reride. He never got a reride. It made him so mad. Oh,
Would he throw his hat down on the ground?
yeah.
Stomp off?
He acted
Like
just
a real. Of course, when you name your kid Dale, like you don't have a choice. You have to be a cowboy. Like he's destined.
yeah. He's a junior. We call him DJ Dale Junior. Take a guess at his middle name. Just think of what would go great with Dale and the middle name.
Earnhardt.
Close, but that's a good one. That's a very good cowboy redneck name. Now
Yeah.
he's Dale Wayne.
Dale Wayne. There
Yeah.
you go. That's so funny.
When he was a kid,
Will he be? Do you think he'll ride one day, or
No.
is it just for fun?
no, I think he enjoyed it when he was a kid doing that, but I don't think he'll ever he never got on cattle or bulls or anything.
Right. You have to love any affiliation with horses, or rodeos, or even horse racing, whatever. There's very little money, except for at the very top. Anyone.
Right.
Even jockeys, whatever, you've got to love it, because you're not going to make a fortune. You're not. And it's a rough, hard life. I mean, you go to the backstretch at Churchill, and all these people are taking care of, multi-million-dollar horses, and, they're sleeping in amorous job, but they just love it,
If it's in your heart, it's in your heart,
Yes. I don't know if I could do it. One year it was really cool because going to the Derby, you can go several ways. And one of the ways you can go is if you know someone who has a horse, even if it's a small percentage. Because what they'll do is people have a horse, and I think we talked about this before, like 100 people will buy in and own, a toenail or a piece of the ear or whatever. But that makes you an owner. And when you do that, you get rights to come to the backside for Derby Day. And so you get in there early and you kind of set up your tent. And it's really a neat way to watch the race, because you get to see the horses being brought out onto the track. And then when they run the track, you see the backstretch. That's what they call it, the backstretch. And so in the front, everyone's, on their best manners, and everyone's being real polite. But man, when they're running that backstretch, they're cussing at each other. They're yelling, they're screaming, they're throwing goggles off, because, they stack their goggles up because the mud, blocks their vision. So they'll wear like 5 or 6 goggles, and it's really a cool way to see it. So we really enjoyed it one year. We were able to do that one time. So it's just a neat way to watch it.
Yeah, it's funny. I never thought about that with the goggles. I had a buddy that did dirt track racing, like with a car, and they didn't have like windshields or anything like that, because they're basically on mud. And he had a helmet to where he just had little films that he would peel off as the race went on, and as they gunked up too much, he would just peel one layer off and just have another layer. So that makes sense for horse racing too, because they're kicking up dirt all over the place.
Oh yeah, for them, like literally, if you see them, if you look at at the end of the race, you look at their helmet and you'll see them all stacked up on top. Because they just pick them up.
Yeah.
And unless you lead the whole way, which is rare. Usually you're not getting to, but yeah, so it's kind of a neat way to see it. I've done it just about every way you can, and I really enjoyed that one. That was neat.
Is that your favorite way to watch to go to the Derby?
Every experience is different. If you go and get a seat, you're doing it the fancy way. You're spending a buttload of money. You're dressed up in heels and a dress and your big derby hat, and you're with stars and rich people, and it's kind of a real fancy way to do it. Then you can do it where you go to the infield, and that's where you put on cutoff shorts and a t-shirt and a cooler of food, and you stand in the middle of a field all day long and don't see one race and drink until you're passed out, but that's another way, which is, it's just like, probably you'll have 100,000 people out there with you. It's a big party. So I don't know. I like all of it. Oaks used to be for the local people, where we could afford to go in and watch the races from the seats. But now we've been priced out of that too. So now we have Thurby, which is on Thursday, and that's where the locals all kind of go. But I think that's starting to get expensive, so it'll probably be pushed to Wednesday. So it's every year it just gets a little more popular and a little bigger. It's neat. I probably like seeing it from the seats because I just like to, look for the stars and people watch. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot. You're dropping a couple grand, for 5 or 6 hours, and that's before you bet.
They don't have the dollar days
Oh
during
no,
the Derby.
no. During the regular season, you can walk in for nothing. But no, let's see. When we did Oaks, and that's Friday. That's not even Derby Day. It was maybe like 7 or 8 years ago. We bought a box, so you have to get a box with 6 seats in it. It was covered, but it was still outside. And I think face on the tickets were $325 a piece. So you've got to think that's not even for the Derby Day, and that's not even in an inside box. So it's a lot of money. That's why when all my friends from Texas keep saying we're gonna come in, I'm like, okay, well, you got to give me a lot of warning and don't hold your breath that we're going to be able to go sit in seats for Derby Day.
So how often do you go on non-Derby weekends?
We go quite a bit in the evenings. They'll have night races. So they'll have night races and they'll have a band playing, and that's a lot of fun. A lot of people will go there, and if the weather's nice. So it just depends. It's like anything, because it's here, we don't utilize it as much as we should. But sometimes you'll just get kind of a wild hair and say, all right, let's go out there. I think they're getting, or they want to get, slot machines out there, and that's going to be interesting to see how that changes things, if they can.
Yeah, that one seems kind of odd to me, to add more gambling aspects inside the horse
morally, it's not a great idea, but I unfortunately, I think, and they see the writing on the wall. I think horse racing, except for the Derby, I think horse racing is kind of dying. The whole, I think it's going to become more of a, I think the Derby will always be around, and I think that will always be popular. But for some reason, I just feel like the whole gambling industry is kind of turning more towards the casinos, and I think they see it coming. So I think they kind of want to be in place to kind of, I think the Derby will be a bread and butter kind of one day a year or 1 week a year activity, but I think they want to make the majority of their money from the gambling. It's not that great, honestly, for your local economy, because a lot of people will dump more money than they need to into those casinos. We have one not far from here, and you could definitely see the problem it causes, but I'm part of the problem because I love to go. I love to go. But I'd hate to see the horse racing industry die, but I don't know. I could definitely see.
You also have the animal cruelty aspect of it. People say the horses aren't treated properly, which they only race for 3 years, right?
And a lot of times they're retired, especially like at the horse park. If you were a really great horse, you're allowed to retire there in the lap of luxury. And, I definitely feel like it's important that you have people come in and keep an eye on them, but those horses are treated very well. I mean, very well. I just imagine this. If you paid $1 million for your car, would you let it out in the rain? Would you not feed it? Would you not wash it? They're really taking good care of them, because the one thing is if your horse does well, it's not even the racing, it's the stud fees.
Yeah.
And that's where, so this horse is going to generate money for you, down the line. So you want to keep it healthy. So really, now I will say that in the days when they didn't, they would put sponges in their nose. Like if you wanted to throw a race, they put a sponge up one nostril to slow the horse down because he couldn't breathe right. Or they would put ginger in their butt to make them real upset because it hurt, and it'd make them run faster because they thought they could run from it. So the industry, it's kind of gotten a bad name from some past practices, but they do keep a very close eye on it. So those horses are treated pretty well now.
And you made the statement of if you paid $1 million for a car, you're going to treat it good. I think that's a good way to say it, because you're not going to forget your oil change when you paid that much for a car. So yeah, I would. No. That's a good argument on those horses are really well taken care of. Hey, I have to take a small break because I have to let my dog out because she's yelling at me.
Okay. All right, Lady G.
Funky Picnic is a locally owned and operated brew pub located off of Bryan Avenue in the heart of Fort Worth.
At Funky Picnic, we serve specialty beers that are all brewed in-house.
Hey Sam, do y'all serve food?
Yeah, we have a full menu. Appetizers, salads, dinner plates, burgers, and sandwiches. We also have a daily special. You can get a cheeseburger and your choice of our Kolsch, Mexican lager, or Hefeweizen for only $10 every day.
Follow the Funky Picnic Gram to stay up to date on new beer releases and any future events, from trivia to drag show.
To schedule an event or private party, check out the form on our website at funkypicnicbrewery.com.
Funky Picnic Brewery, because all moms love a good Mexican lager. Yeah, she's outside now. Now she's staring at me like mad that I let her outside.
Right. Let me back in. Let me back in.
So our little horse racing park here, Lone Star Park, once a year they do an exotic night. They call it something else now, but they used to call it exotic night, where they would race zebras, ostriches.
What?
Yes, ostriches, and shoot, I can't remember what the other one was. I went one time and it was so much fun because it's just different. You know,
way different.
Seeing a jockey on an ostrich racing it.
And they can go. They can run fast.
Yeah, they get quickly going. Oh, another thing they did at the Father's Day races is you could volunteer to go race on the track. And my brother-in-law, the bull rider, did this. Him and his buddy Kane, who's also a bull rider. And they wore like an inflatable ostrich suit and then raced against other dads that were out there. And that was hilarious to watch. Obviously, Dale won because he can just pull shit like that off.
Used to running on that. That track is probably not easy to run on.
Most of the people just fell over. As soon as they started running, they fell over. I guarantee it. And him and Kane just dominated.
That is a deep, soft dirt. Yeah. Okay, now I have to know, if you have 5 or 6 ostriches lined up, do they run in a straight line? I mean, I just have this vision of them running all over each other and running all over the place.
Well, there's jockeys on
them. Yeah, but can they keep them on the straight and narrow?
Yes. I mean, it's not amazing. Long. It's not long races. They're not going around the track. It's just the straight race. So they're not.
I just see this as being total mayhem.
Oh, it is.
Where they're just running all over the place.
The ostrich one is the funnest one to watch because it is more mayhem, because it's probably the least easiest ones to control, because a zebra, very similar to a horse. Camel.
Right.
You know, camel, you can put a harness on and kind of do something with. Ostrich, you're just kind of just hoping for the best, but it's fun to watch.
Oh my gosh. I would say the camel would be the easiest because they're bred and bred to be ridden. You know, that's kind of their nature. A zebra, I would kind of say that would be interesting because, you know, you don't have people have zebras in their backyard and take them out for rides, you know, across your farm. So I would say that would be next. But the ostrich, I think, would be impossible to get it to listen to any command.
Yeah,
that is funny.
I'm not sure how the training process with the ostrich went, but yeah. If they ever do it again,
I would think it would be jump on and just hold on is what I would think training process would be.
Yeah, no, there may not be a training process. They may just throw them in the chutes and say, well, good luck. And
I'm sure. And I'm sure there's someone at the end holding like something they like to eat or something, you know.
I didn't notice anything like that.
And they're just running for it.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything like that, but there possibly could have been.
That would make the most sense to me, I would think. It's kind of like the little piglet races at the fair.
I looked at it for this year. I did not see it anywhere on the schedule. So I don't know if they might add it later or if we don't get exotic racing this year. But if they do, I'll let you know. Maybe I can come in town.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's cool. Well, it's good to see them come up with creative ways, you know, to sort of generate some income and get people in. I think that's what Churchill Downs has been trying to do is, you know, with like night racing. And one year they had the Stones came in, the Rolling Stones, and they had it was an awesome venue for it, you know, and they set up on the track and had their concert there. So I think they've been trying to kind of, you know, diversify, if you will, to get some money in. And, you know, another thing is you've got, you know, I have it, TVG. We've all got betting apps on our phones now, so you don't even necessarily have to go.
Not
if
all
you
of
don't
us.
Want to. Well, some of us.
We don't get that in Texas.
I did. Y'all, can you all can't bet on apps in Texas?
We cannot.
Okay. Yeah, I've done that where I've tried to bet from certain states and they won't let you, but we can here. Yeah, so we're allowed to.
Texas is one of those states where you cannot bet. Like when my brother-in-law comes in, his app he can't even bet if he says his location is not here. Yeah, I mean, there's ways to get around it, obviously.
Right. Reset your location. Honest, it's probably not a bad idea. Honestly, I mean, like I said, I love to gamble, but the fact that it's so accessible, it's like, oh, it's probably not a good idea in the long run for all of us. I would say if you have enough money to get on a plane and fly to Vegas, you probably have enough money to lose.
Right, and when I gamble to lose. So if I had an app, I would just be throwing money away.
Right.
I don't ever gamble saying I need to win this bet. I gamble saying I want the excitement of having the possibility of winning, but expecting to lose.
Expecting to lose. That's a very healthy attitude.
Yeah.
What is this? The slogan at our casino is "Winners know when to quit."
Very true. Very true.
I was like, no, winners know not to come through your door. So I think that's probably lost on all of us as we pass through your doors. But
now, if I'm going to a casino, every bit of money I take with me, I'm planning on losing or spending.
Yes. You're okay with losing.
Yeah. It's entertainment for me. If I come back with anything, that's winning. Have you ever been to the horse races in Vegas?
No, I have not. I didn't know that they ran horses out there.
Okay, so I had never been before until we went it might have been a few years ago. It doesn't matter. Time frame doesn't matter on this. And one of my buddies that was like, it kept asking us, "Have y'all been to the horse races?" We're like, "No." I was like, "Well, let's go check out. I want to show you the horse races." So we go to Old Town. Or what's it called? Is it Old Town?
It's Old Vegas, isn't that what they call it?
Old Vegas, yeah.
Yeah.
Where the Binion and the Four Queens and all that is.
Yes, yeah, that's Old Vegas, yeah.
And then there's a casino called the D, which downstairs it is like just a club. Like, you have the girls dancing on tables while people are gambling. And then you go upstairs and there's a big bar and there's horse racing. And it's a machine, probably about the size of a pool table. And you can only play with quarters, like real legit quarters. And you pick your horse. There's, I think, probably about 10 horses all around it. So you go to your spot and you start putting quarters on whatever horse you want to bet on. And then they race.
And it's like a mechanical?
It's a mechanical. Like it's not digital.
It's
100% mechanical. And then you put your quarters in. They run around the track a couple of times. And then if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose.
Oh my God, that is awesome! And which casino is that in? The D?
The D. Yeah, I think the big D, the D, something like that. I know it's definitely D, just the letter D somewhere in there.
Because we went down and played in Old Vegas because we just thought it would be cool, one night to do it. But I hadn't seen that. Is really, really neat. Now, did you win?
I really don't remember. I was just so fascinated with how authentic it was.
Right. And can you win very much?
Well, you're only betting quarters, and if you bet a ton of quarters, I guess you could, because you can just shove as many quarters in as you want. But then
that is so funny.
And your horses have odds, so you know your horse's odds before you start betting.
Right.
And that's how you win money. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
So Rich Strike would have been you would have had a lot of quarters.
Yeah. So you've been to the Derby many times, correct?
Yes.
Since you grew up there. You live close by, obviously.
Yeah, I mean Louisville. I'm living, I guess, city proper, so it's maybe about 4 or 5 miles down the road.
Oh wow, so you're super close.
Yeah, so we're real close.
Hi, I'm Elena Sims, a Vice President at Community National Mortgage. I'm here to take care of all of your lending needs to finance your next home. Whether you're purchasing an existing home or working with a builder, I can help. For application information, you can visit my Facebook page at TX Lending Made Easy.
Elena Sims, NMLS 1193345.
Your mom's favorite equal housing lender.
We're kind of spoiled. It's like the airport is literally 5 minutes away from me.
I have to choose from the airport that's 45 minutes or the airport that's an hour away from me.
Yeah, if you go an hour, you're in Cincinnati. You're catching a flight out of Cincy.
Yeah, unless I have a private jet, I can fly from just down the street at Spinks Airport. That's the closest option I have.
Oh, does that happen often? Because I have an airport. I have a small airport right across the street from me, so you could fly in and pick us up, take us out. We'd love that.
The next time it happens, I'll let you know.
Okay. We actually, oddly enough, across the street from my neighborhood it's called Bowman Field, and it is the oldest private airport in the country.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Yeah, you go in and see all these old pictures, Yeah, it's a small, it's, I guess it used to probably, be the main airport where you flew out way back when. But we had, I think it was a commercial airline. For some reason, he got mixed up, and instead of landing at SDF, which is our major airport, he landed at Bowman Field. He could land it, but he could not take off. So they had to come in and they had dismantled the plane and truck it out because it could not take off again. It was the runway was too short.
That's hilarious. I mean, that's awesome too.
That was probably a job ender. I'd say that was a career ender for that gentleman. But yeah, how he made that mistake, I don't know.
I mean, I guess when you're in the sky, all the airports just look the same.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they did. I'm sure air traffic control didn't know what to say. I'm sure they were like, for the love of God, what are you doing? And it wasn't like an SOS. He wasn't in, there was nothing wrong with the plane. It was just a mistake. But yeah, it's right across the street from me. So.
Yeah, right. Lone Star Park.
Well,
I was gonna say, yeah. So Lone Star Park does some really cool stuff. Like you said, they have the concerts at the Churchill. We have. I think almost every weekend there's a concert, and they do $1 entry, $1 beer, $1 hot dogs, and then you have the concert, and $1 whatever drinks you want. Just everything's $1.
Right.
But
yeah,
they kind of trick you into that because all the $1 beers are in one little spot.
So you're waiting in line.
You're waiting in line for the beers, and they're in the smaller cups, which it's still $1 beer, so it's cheap, but you're waiting for it. So you're spending your entire time waiting for this $1 beer, and for me, I value my time more, so I'll spend $4 for a beer just to get it right then.
And your beer, yes.
Yes.
I completely understand. Yes. Well, they probably I'll be honest with you, I'm sure they do have like dollar days and whatnot. I don't go enough to experience that, but I will tell you, on Derby, let's see, I think White Claws were $12. Let's see, if you got Lily, which is the drink on Derby, it was $17. And then your mint julep was $17 to $18. So the drinks are crazy expensive.
Yeah.
So that's why you sneak it in. And that's like a big thing, to sneak it in. And I am proud to say that if I wear the right dress and the right undergarment, I can get a whole fifth of vodka in. No problem. And my chest. So yeah, so that's
nice.
That's something that you have to do if you want to be able to drink all day long.
So is that why everybody wears those big hats?
Yeah, yes. So they can put stuff, they'll always interview people outside, getting in, asking how they're sneaking it in, and we've done everything. I think one year I took a 2-liter and I drilled a hole in the bottom real small, and I had a friend who was a nurse, and I poured half of it out, and then I used like a bag, like a syringe in a bag to fill it up with vodka, and then I took glue and glued the hole so that the 2-liter looked like it wasn't opened. And then we've hollowed out sandwiches and put minis in it, and they catch a lot, but a lot of it just goes through. And I think it's just the fun of getting it in. People like to sneak it in different ways.
We were talking about when we were talking about that from when we went and saw Rogan. They were so concerned about locking your phone up. We could have brought anything in we wanted.
Right.
Literally,
right.
All they cared about was making sure your phone was in that bag.
Yes. Which is unusual that he does that. That seems so hard.
I love that he does that because it makes the show that much more authentic.
Oh, I know. I think it is cool. I'm surprised he chose to do that, because I thought that can't be cheap to buy all those bags. So
it's a company that does that. So I think it's kind of like a service they pay for. So he doesn't have to own all the bags. He doesn't have to pay for all the people. He just has to pay for the service.
For the service to come out.
Yeah. And it's probably still not cheap, but I mean, I know how much we paid for our tickets way up high.
Yeah.
As big as that arena is, I'm sure he made quite a bit of money.
Turn in a profit.
That small little bit to have everybody lock their phones up and pay for that service for them to come out and do that. Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Wasn't it kind of funny to watch people's reactions? Like they were asking you to put your infant in that bag and seal it. They were just like, what? I don't know about this. You could just see, especially, and the younger the person, the more upset they were by the whole thing. Like,
yes.
I don't know if I can do this, And so I was laughing. It just was, it was funny watching. Then I'd watch them all in the stands try to break it open, they're like, I'm going to get this open anyway.
Yeah. I love not having it. And so I've also me and Holly went and saw Bert. We saw Bert Crasher, Tom Segura, and we saw Letterkenny live. And they didn't lock our phones up. Bert didn't have any signs at all. Like, I don't think he cared because he knows, I think he understands that his fans that go to see him aren't going to try to record him because they don't want to don't want to ruin him for everybody else. Tom had signs all over the place saying if you're caught with your phone out taking pictures or video, you'll be asked to leave you'll be escorted out right away. And Letterkenny Live had the same thing. But regardless of if that were the case or not, for me personally, as a fan of what I'm going to watch and what I'm paying to see, I don't want to be on my phone recording it. Or let's be honest, when you take a video of something like that, not a video of your kids or whatever, but if you're taking a video of something you're watching that you need to be paying attention to because it's entertaining you, you're never going to go back and watch that video.
Never.
You might.
That's what I look at my phone. I have all these stupid videos of stuff, and I never look at them.
Yeah. You might send it to a friend,
agree.
And they'll probably watch the first 5 seconds and be done.
And then delete it because it sounds so bad, or it looks so bad, or it's shaking all over the place. Yeah, I totally agree.
That's my least favorite thing about like Snapchat and stuff like that is when people are at concerts and they just send video after video after video of what they're seeing. Yes. And it's like all you hear is garbage because first of all, it's going through your camera, which picks up your phone. I'm sorry, going through your phone, which iPhones and even, most phones now have really good cameras built into them, but they're not made to pick up loudspeakers that are 300 yards away. Because when it comes in that far, it gets so condensed, it's just rumbling noise. You can't make out the music. It's not like being there live in person.
Yeah, and then the lights are so bright. Like all you see is like red and green and yellow. And you know what? I mean, we need to start living in the moment a little bit more.
100%.
And you're not when you're doing that. You're missing it.
Yeah. We went on Mother's Day. Me and my family went to Hibachi with me, my mom, my sister, my grandmother, and my Aunt Jamie's mom was there as well. And there's you know how Hibachi works. They cook there's a show. Yeah. It's a show.
Sure.
There was a table across from us, like on the other side of the restaurant, to where after our show was done, we're finished eating. We're getting ready to pay out. And I noticed a guy, he's on his phone, recording everything that is going on, but he has his flashlight on. So not only is it the distraction of him recording everything, but he also has a light on. So
with this stupid light.
So that made it even more funny.
And no offense, I like to go to Hibachi, but who the hell wants to watch Hibachi?
Nobody.
Nobody wants to watch your food get cooked for 25 minutes long. Nobody wants to see it.
It's fun when you're there.
Cracks me up. Yes.
It's fun when you're there. And so we had so many people, our tables got separated. Like we were all at the same table, but they have two little actual hibachi grills and then the cooks are back to back.
Back to back, yeah.
So me, my mom, it was me, my mom next to me, and my dad were all at the other table, so we got separated from them, from the rest of my family, as far as the show and the cook goes.
Fun.
No, it was still fun because we're still right next to them.
Right.
But we have a different cook. That was the only difference. So we could still talk to them.
Did you compare cooks?
Oh, ours was so much better.
Were you like, ours was better? That's good.
It was like our guy me and my dad were rating them, both of them. Every time the other guy would do something, we'd give him like a 5 or a 6, and our guy was 9-10 every time. He killed it.
Did he make the little steam engine out of the oven or out of the onions?
Yeah, he did that. He
had the egg in the hat.
He did not do the egg in the hat, but you know how normally they'll when they start cooking the little shrimps, they'll start throwing it so people catch it in their mouth?
Yes.
Our guy did that with rice, which I thought was really cool.
Oh.
It was like
Were you all catching it?
Yeah, we are. And everybody at our table nailed it. Yeah. And then he
I think rice would be easier than a shrimp to catch, personally.
Well, it was like a little clump of rice that was kind of cooked together with the egg and stuff. Yeah, it probably was. But he also extended it into the rest of our family to let it keep going all the way until almost the end.
Uh-huh.
Our guy entertained them as well as us.
Now, that actually would have been worth videoing. I would have watched that.
Him throwing it across the place.
I would have watched that. Yes, that's amazing. We went to one, and I only saw it once. I didn't see it before, never saw it after. But you know how they have the cart with their sauces, and they take it out and they squeeze soy sauce or whatever. And so, of our kids, all of our kids had different personalities. And Haley our the third in line, loves her clothes, loves her shoes, loves her fashion. Don't mess with her outfits. Don't mess with her stuff. And so she's sitting there, and of course she's all, decked out. And he picks up a bottle, and it looked like ketchup. And he acted like he was going to squeeze it on the grill, and he turned to her and he squeezed it. And all this red came out all over her. And I was like, oh my God. And even if you could have seen her face, and we realized it was just a string that he had, and it just came, but it literally for about 10 seconds looked like he'd covered her with, I don't know, sriracha or something. I thought this kid was going to come across the table and kill him. I was like, that was the wrong one to do it to, but I laughed so hard.
Funny.
I've never seen it since. It was great. That was probably the best part of the meal, but her face, I thought, well, she's fighting. We got to leave. Dinner's over. Oh, it was great. I mean, I just was like, and it looked so real. It was like, and I just thought, oh my gosh. So he was definitely 10 out of 10 on that.
100%. Well, Aliki, I know I said I wanted to talk to you for about 30 minutes about the Kentucky Derby and horse racing. And we went off on
as usual. We've wove all over the place.
We had a lot of good conversation. I enjoyed every minute of it. I miss Dustin. I hate that he's not here. And like I said, a 30-minute.
I hope he's having fun.
Oh, I know he's having a blast. The 30-minute podcast without him was nothing but. Now we went a little long, so I feel a little bit bad that he wasn't part of it, but he'll be all right.
Well, you can tell him that us professionals, we were able to hold the fort down, but we still need him here. We still need him here. All right, thank you all for listening to our SNL Light. That went a little long, so it's kind of like the SNL Hard Seltzer. We'll call this one the SNL Hard Seltzer. We were live streaming at twitch.tv/Sims and Leon, so you can check us out there. If you want to watch our live streams, just go to that and click on that heart. That'll give you notifications when you check it out. Send us an email at simsandleon@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to SNL_boys with a Z. It was fun to see that one guy, practically beating him to get him off. I mean, just the jerky. You get rights to come to the backside. I think it's just the fun of getting it in. That seems so hard.